Hey there! Today we're going to break down exactly what you should expect during your wildlife inspection with Catawba Wildlife.
All right, so let's get right into it. It usually starts with a sound, right? A little scratch, a thump, a noise you just can't quite place. So the big question is, are wild animals or birds actually getting into your property? Look, if that sounds all too familiar, the very first thing to do is don't panic. Seriously, help is available and there are totally reliable and safe ways to solve this problem. All right, let's dig a little deeper here. You hear that noise in the attic, but what's the real reason they picked your house? Understanding the why is absolutely the key to finding a real lasting solution. It's probably a lot simpler than you're imagining. Most of the time, it all boils down to one single powerful drive. They're looking for a safe, warm spot to have their babies. And guess what? To them, your attic looks like the perfect 5-star nursery. And here's the thing that's so important to get. This problem, it's a cycle. Just look at this. Squirrels, they have 2 breeding seasons a year. Raccoons, they're total creatures of habit. They'll come back to the same spot year after year. And bats, well, they form maternity colonies, returning to the exact same place annually. So the bottom line is, once your home is on their radar, they're going to keep coming back.
And that is exactly why getting a professional involved from the start is so critical. So let's talk about the expert wildlife inspection and how this sets you up for a real solution, not just another temporary fix.
Okay, think of it like this. That animal you hear in the attic, that's just a symptom. The real problem, the disease, if you will, is a weak spot on the outside of your house. I mean, if one animal found its way in, that means there's an open door, and you can bet there are probably other weak spots just waiting to be discovered. So just trapping the animal without sealing up the entrance, well, you're basically just putting out a welcome mat for the next one. So a proper inspection is like a full diagnostic of your home security system. The technician is going to check everything, the entire roofline, the soffits, the vents, gables, even these tiny little construction gaps that you would never ever notice. They're basically playing detective, looking for the how and the why so they can stop it from ever happening again. Okay, so once that super thorough inspection is done, you're going to find yourself at a crossroads. This is where you have to decide, do you want a quick patch or do you want a permanent solution? And this slide just lays it out perfectly. You've got 2 paths. On one hand, there's the economy option. Let's be honest, it's a Band-Aid. It seals up the one hole that the animal is using right now, but it leaves all those other vulnerable spots wide open. That means you've got a super high risk of them breaking in again. Now, on the other hand, you have full exclusion. This is the permanent solution. We're talking about sealing all the potential entry points and reinforcing the weak areas. This is what actually stops the cycle of animals getting in, for good.
So you might be asking, what does this full exclusion permanent solution actually look like? Let's walk through the process of how we secure your home for the long haul.
Yeah, the official term for this is exclusion, and really, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the whole process of basically wildlife-proofing your house. What that means is sealing up all those potential entry points we found during the inspection and doing it with super strong wildlife-resistant materials so you don't have to worry about this again.
And the process itself is really straightforward, but man, is it effective. Step 1, we gotta safely and humanely get the current tenants out of there. Step 2, we seal up every single potential entryway, not just the one they used. And step 3, we go that extra mile to reinforce any other weak spots, basically beefing up your home's entire defensive line.
All of this work, from the top to bottom inspection to sealing everything up, it's all about getting to one single essential goal, and that's restoring your peace of mind. I love this quote because it just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. It says, "We cannot remove every animal in the neighborhood, but we can prevent them from returning to your home." See? The goal isn't to get rid of every squirrel in a 5-mile radius. That's just impossible. The real goal is to turn your home into an impenetrable fortress so you never, ever have to lie awake at night worrying about them getting back in.
And look, getting that peace of mind really comes down to trusting the right people for the job. You want a team that isn't just licensed and state certified, but one that's totally committed to using safe, humane methods, and, most importantly, one that guarantees your long-term satisfaction.
So as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one really critical question to think about. That noise in your attic? Yeah, that's a warning sign. But the real question you should be asking yourself is this: is my home permanently protected? If you want the answer to that question to be a definite yes, then it's probably time to take action.
You can protect your home for good by reaching out to the experts at Catawba Wildlife today.